Let's do a quick restart here. All right, we're streaming, we are recording. Almost forgot to hit the record button again. That would have been bad. All right, then welcome everybody to this episode of Eve Station Trading, and we're gonna go look at last week's buys and sells. We're gonna start off with Raythex says they better be good. I picked up 100 of each. Oh, did you really? Oh man, let's check it out. Usually for materials, I tend to not hold on to them that long, or I don't necessarily have to hold on to them that long. All right, the first one, let's check it out. Drone coronary unit. It's just now starting to cross over the above the 20-day moving average. So I think it's getting up there. It's getting up there based on the graph. It's gonna be a little volume wise, nothing too crazy. So I think it's just regular price movement, the ebb and flow of prices. So I'm not too concerned with that. But if you have bought it this week, I think you got in a really good spot. I think you got, you know what I mean? Next one's drone epidermal shield chunk. Wow, okay, so it's still on a really tight consolidation channel here. Nothing crazy on volume, so I would think that if you got it at this point, this is probably going to be a historical low, relatively, at least within the 90-day marker. Then we'll see. I mean, it's tough to call, especially during summertime. Buying materials around summertime tends to be you end up holding on to them for a few months, unless something really big happens in summer, which historically it really doesn't. A lot of folks are doing other things. Summertime, no. All right. The next one's the excavator mining drones themselves. I'm anticipating that they're really good to buy right now. And the reason I say that is because it's not like people will never use them, right? It's just that there's a lot of people that were using them. Like that was the premier ISK making ship, right? It really should have been. It's starting to pick back up. Wow. That's really, really interesting. Because in this batch of excavator mining drones, at least the ones that are been made in the last 3-5 days, were really getting made on the cheap, material cost wise. Can't really speak of the actual blueprint. Wraith X72 says I want to buy, but it was just out of my price range, unfortunately. Talking about the mining drones themselves. I mean, they're near 90-day lows right now. To be honest, if I were gonna pull the trigger on it, I'd probably do it now. Oh, hey Dexter.
Howdy.
What's up, bud? Sorry, man, didn't even see you there.
All good.
Let me pump you up real quick. So exciting, our first impromptu guest. Mark677 says blueprint costs around 500 mil to 600 mil for 5 runs. Really? It's kind of pricey. So what do you do in game, Dexter?
Lead about a 90-man PvP corp out of Mercenary Coalition. As far as trading, I do market seeding, mainly 0-0 hubs, low sec hubs, and a little bit around high sec.
Did you ever see stuff in like the NETC Keepstars?
What was that?
Did you ever see market items in the NETC Keepstars?
No. I
No?
usually do it for my alliance.
Oh, okay. Well, one of those was you guys's, right? The Basgarin one.
Baskern's ours, yeah, but I don't think there's enough movement for what I'm doing.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff to be done, like super capitals and stuff out of there, but the margin on those are kind of crap.
Yeah. I mean, my involvement really with nullsec markets is actually quite the other way. It's buying off the buybacks and then selling them in Empire.
Shitload of this to be made doing that.
Yeah, I'm still doing right now. Actually, one of my operators got me into buying off his jump freighter loads, and it's like like 3 bill, 4 bill a piece, but it cycles through Jita pretty quickly, to be honest.
Yeah, usually what you're doing is catching people that are too lazy to do it themselves or too risk adverse to do it. And yeah, you can make even just buying ships that people are fire selling because they lost access to a station or they can't be bothered to come out of NPC space.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, because these items are coming out of horde space, so I'm not really sure how extensive that can be. Based the alt game and all that.
Yeah, there's definitely billion alts there, but there's a lot of content up there too, so a lot of moving of goods. I used to seed 7 RM quite a bit back in the day. Well, a year ago.
That's good, man. Yeah, I'm so really excited about it. I was pretty skeptical about it, to be honest, because I really thought that. Well, I guess I am experiencing it because right now there's definitely I don't have enough market orders to put everything on the market, which is kind of nice, I guess, because I always have stuff to sell.
Yeah.
It's never a rush, it's never a buy order rush anymore. Let's see, what else did we look at for buys last week? Geckos, man, I really want to get back to geckos. I'm so scared.
I think that ship might have sailed looking at the price over time.
Yeah, but then I do keep saying that, but then it just keeps chugging along, man. So it's still definitely below average in the last 14 days, but it's starting to peak above the 20-day moving average. So there's some potential there, and the volumes aren't really changing too much. So it's probably just normal price movement. How the fuck are these things getting into the game, man? It's like I'm kind of amazed at the volume of something that can't be manufactured.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Like
the invention, or I guess they're.
I mean, I know a few, like that kind of like those so faction flavored sites. We have, they were dropping blueprints of these, but I don't think they were that much. Nothing can sustain this kind of volume unless this is a premier ISK laundering material, maybe.
Yeah, I've never really worked in reverse engineering, but is there a way to reverse engineer them?
No, because it's a faction item, so effectively it's a Tech 1 blueprint.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's drops usually, but we don't. Gecko BPCs aren't necessarily an item that's dropped in anomalies right now. They were gifts before, right? All of your accounts received like several dozen of these over time. I just can't believe it's enough. People still have enough of this stuff. Like this shit doesn't die or something. But it's still, as of right now, at least it still looks like it's If you really want to get into it, if you really want to take a chance, it's below average, sort of, kind of. Still.
I wonder if it has anything to do with the transition from people wanting to not do carrier ratting anymore and trying
Yeah.
to go to a different route.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's actually one of the things we'll look at right now. One of the things we called out for sells last week was basically pirate faction battleships across the board. They are really good PVE platforms. Next to carrier super carriers, I guess. I haven't been a nullsec in years, man. So I don't even know what you guys do over there.
Oh, Syndicate, mainly ship spinning at this point.
Syndicate's weird, it's got its own flavor over there. All the pirate faction battleships were trending really high last week. It still is. Barghest. Why would you get a Barghest? I don't know, man.
I fly up Argus.
Yeah, Macariel's really good for PvE. Macariel, Rattlesnakes. It's still trending high. Low volumes though. I'm surprised it's actually still trending high right now. So if you I wouldn't buy these right now. No way. It's just too high.
I think fleet doctrines are going away from them anyways with the uptick in price of them.
Yeah. Ooh, Nestor's about to go down. It's about to crash down. That's good. It's a solid wormhole ship, man, Nestor's. Nightmares definitely trending down. Oh, Pravi uses it. This is actually like mainline doctrine for them, which makes sense. We can produce it locally. I'm kind of surprised there was even movement into Balgorn because Balgorn is really, obviously more of a PvP oriented ship than PvE.
It's very a niche PvP ship too.
Yeah, I mean that's really good in wormholes though, for defense. Oh, Rattlesnake's so good still. Rattlesnake's, yeah, definitely lowered volume, not by a whole lot, but it's still trending up there. The crash of the Rattlesnake's gonna be glorious. I made so much money last week from that. So I bought it at like 90-day lows or damn near it. I got about 10% out of them, but I definitely was not anticipating that kind of reaction from the fighter nerf. And Vindicators. I don't know why people bought these in mass either. They're not really good for PvE though, I wouldn't think. At least not solo. Yeah, it's strange. All right, so that's a recap of our buys and actually a few more things. Ishtar and Vexor Navy issue. If I had the money, I would have. If I was still in Galmail, I would have traded in lots of Vexor Navy issues right now. Twitch username for Gecko PPCs. Weren't they given as loot drops in one of these events before? Like 6 months ago? Pretty sure they were. It was like a scare of them like being, dropping in price from that. VNI is gonna go up. No, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think any of these. The VNIs have already been up. It's just more of because it doesn't take much to actually farm enough LP to get Vexor Navy issues in Galmil, seeing as they're in tier 3 right now. It literally would take 3 to 4 sites worth of LP, and that's like less than an hour. You can farm them pretty well. Ishtars are still up, but it's trending down. So we might have, if you wanted to trade Ishtars, you might have missed the boat. If you're manufacturing these, Hopefully you offloaded your stock already. There's a pretty significant drop in them in the last 2 days. And finally, the VNIs. Still trending up. Still trending up. If you were to get these now, you might be holding on to these for a while, man. You're probably gonna have to wait this out if you really want to get into Vector Navy issues. Mark 677 says, so nowhere to do offensive plexing, nowhere to get LPs from. Not really. I mean, if you're in the... There's still some... Let's see, actually, that's a good question. Let's take a look at the system count. This character is actually in faction warfare, so... So if I'm in Gallente, I can't go to a Mars space that they own 0 systems. There's only 16 Caldari systems I can do offensive plexing in. Sucks. But that's fine. You know, you only need sites per system, you know what I mean? Like 1 site per system is enough to keep you going. And it just, you know, it keeps respawning anyway over time. So, I mean, that is what it is, you know. Even with that, even with how easy it is to get Gallente Plex or Gallente LP right now, it's amazing that it's maintaining that kind of price because it's pretty easy to get right now. Let's see. Do you guys do buybacks in MC at all, or not really? At least not through your MC tunes.
As far as what do you mean buybacks? As far as like trade?
Yeah, like getting stuff from Nullsec and selling it back in Empire.
Not really rules against it. You kind of do whatever you want with that.
See, Mark 677 says better ideas to make missions. Yeah, it is. Tier 3, Tier 4 for faction warfare. That's actually really good payouts. So one of the things that my main sources of income this week was the buybacks. I had like 5 batches of contracts. I'm going to show those right now. I just had about 5 contracts of very similar contracts, you know, where I don't know why folks are selling Tech 2 modules to this guy, but whatever. Fire selling, I guess, or probably from kills or whatever. But each one was costing me about actually, let me see if I can link you guys the EVE appraisal on those. So I just linked my latest contract that costed me about 3.8 bill. So what ends up happening is I get them right at Jita buys, and between Jita buys and what the guy who sold it to me had gotten it from his buyback program, I mean he makes enough to continue to do it to continue with that transaction. So I'm definitely making profit on my end. That's for sure. I just hope he is too. But it's one of those things, where uh, are you willing to trade a little bit of profit for a lot of convenience? Yeah. Mark 677 says, I want to start Tech 2 manufacturing. Any idea on how to find a nice item to manufacture? The only thing I caution folks with Tech 2 manufacturing, how cool is this, taking advantage of poor capsulars? Yeah. As far as Tech 2, I did it a little bit. I did Tech 2 ships, I did Tech 2 modules, also Tech 3. I actually had more success with Tech 3, and it you not really spend the training time isn't that much longer to be honest. Um, do you do any kind of manufacturing, Dexter?
No, I've never touched it.
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, it's like trading's definitely more efficient if you're willing to kind of do a little bit of homework, right? Kula says the hardest part of Tech 2 production is actually selling the stuff you make. Yep, it really, really is because especially with Eve, having, being over a decade old now, and uh, there's a lot of Tech 2 manufacturing alts out there. There's a lot of indie alts out there. So you really have to find kind of an angle that has a high enough barrier to entry where that's going to be like the main source of profit. There's people not bothering, having less competitors at all. That's kind of going to be, that's kind of the environment you want to be in to actually make profit.
Well, my understanding, even if you have like a Tech 2 BPO of some sort, the amount of transactions you have to even have a return of investment is just astounding.
Yeah, I mean, these days, to be honest, if you really want to get a Tech 2 BPO, it's really more for the novelty. You're not, like, you shouldn't expect to actually make a profit off of that these days. At least not at less than 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, nope. No thanks, I'll do. Well, ever since they changed the environment to where there's no more queues for research, there's no more queues for manufacturing and NPC stations. That really opened the floodgates to a lot of BPCs hitting the market. So, like the last few batches of Tech 2 and even Tech 3 builds that I did, I wasn't even inventing or reverse engineering those BPCs. I was getting them right off of contracts. They were selling it for cheap because they're trying to be competitive and offload it. So yeah, yes, please. I will get those. I will get those. So yeah, I mean it sucks, but if you really want to do it, you shouldn't sell it in a major trade hub. You should sell it like in your little Nullsec pocket or something. What's your link here, Kulo? Oh, nice. The Tech 2 modules and stuff that I focused on really was stuff the ganker friendly modules. That's really what I focused on. You mentioned queues, less clicking. Yep. All right, so these are So I was doing those contracts, guys. So in the span of 7 days, I went through 5 contracts ranging from 1 to nearly 4 billion a piece, and it cycles pretty fast. Like I haven't actually adjusted my orders in over a week. Like I haven't because I have so much stuff. Like I still have hangar, guys. I still have 991 items to put into market. I don't have enough market orders, so it's fine. It's fine. As far as profit for this kind of operation, guesstimating, I'm probably getting around no more than 5% net profit for sure, which is fine.
Inside market trading, or
No, as far as the buybacks,
okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm not making more than 5% because he's selling it to me right at buy already, and some of those items have really really tight margins as is. Oh, hey Sven. Google says, way I do is buy cheap components over a long period of time and manufacture stuff when it spikes. Cost of invention is so low, I invent stuff at random. Yep. It's basically like having just having everything at the ready, right? And just waiting to see what the market conditions are, and if something's about to spike up, just start building them en masse. Um, that's a good system, to be honest. That's a really really good system. Actually, the Tech 2 components, I was putting buy orders for those, and I was actually getting matched on them pretty quickly, to be honest. So if the math is right, you may be getting them slightly at the cheap Tech 2 components and buy orders, at least in Jita. All right, one other item that I kind of made money on is Caldari Navy Ballistic Control System, sold for 9% before taxes. I'm not sure who uses these, to be honest with you.
Those Bargist pilots that you were talking about earlier.
Really? Really? Okay. Because they move kind of
Orthros pilot.
low. Yeah, they move kind of low. It's a low volume item.
Yeah, you don't sell too many of them.
Nah. All right, so I bought these for 87 mil and sold them for 95, so 9% before taxes. Someone bought them all in one go too. Like, damn, okay, good to go. Someone really, really wanted them. All right, next thing I'm gonna look at, guys. So we have the Rogue Swarm event going on right now through the end of the month. And I kind of just want to show you guys the Rogue Swarm accelerators, how they're doing. Have you done any of these sites yet?
The Rogue Swarm?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm, I must be the most unlucky person I've yet to actually come across one.
I go down into like some NPC 00, and you'll run into them all
Oh
over the place.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're super easy. You could do them in the Tech 1 frigate.
Oh wow, okay. So from a pricing perspective, when they first became available, they were starting to sell like around 50 mil, and now they've gone as low as 13 by 16 sell. So it is what it's only gonna get lower, So um, if it gets to a point where you don't even think it's worth selling, just use it. Just use it. They're more effective than skill injectors. So just saying. Someone, I think it wasn't. I forget who it was. Let's see if I actually have that in my show notes. I saw in that article that I linked, guys. It was actually someone did the math, and basically it states that having the using the Rogue Swarm accelerators is more efficient than injectors. Or at least that's what I got out of it. So that's pretty cool. If you're getting these anyway for free, might as well use them, right? Oh, hey, Cliff. Do you trade skins at all, man?
Do I? Yeah.
So these Ruby Sungrazer skins, the ones that are available right now from the event, I'm definitely not seeing these a lot in the market. Um, so I'm just not that experienced with skins. Do you think their value will actually? So do these skins will they eventually become available outside of the event? Do they normally work out that way?
Um, I'm not sure about those specific ones, but I mean, some of the more rare skins definitely go up in value over time as more and more people are seeking them out.
Or
Like I recently acquired one of the golden skins for the Scorpions. Market's typically around 20 billion on those things. I had to offload it for 18 bill. But I think I got it for 12.
How cool it says, I would not invest in skins. At least just lost 10 bill on that. That's nuts. I mean, like looking at the market right now, at least the ones that are being sold in the open market, there's not a whole lot of movement, and there's not a whole lot of history being built on them. So people are probably just holding on to them, using them.
Well, and a lot of people with the whole aura change just dumped aura into skins right before the change.
Yep. Yeah, so not much really here. So maybe this can develop a few months after the event, maybe. But that's a good point, though, especially with the way we don't have Aurum anymore, and we got the mini Plexus, and how does that affect the skin economy? Twitch username for me says those Rui ones don't drop in the event. Really? Are these just a separate promotional one? Oh, cool. It says purity skins lost 490% of their value since the release. Fuck that. All the event ones are dirt cheap. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it really speaks of how little I know of these skins. I just don't get it.
Yeah, so you'll get like doing 2 or 3 of those rogue swarms. It'll say 100 million ISK worth of value, but it's literally like 2 million ISK worth of value, just because they're so offset.
No, it's not even so much that. I was like, I guess when I first heard that we were gonna get skins, and even like, why you can't even see your ship.
Spaceship Barbies.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. Like I kind of get the folks who do the cabins quarters things. I can kind of see that, like clothes for your avatar. Okay, I get that, but like ships, like if you're doing anything competitive at all undocked, you're not really. You know what I mean? You can't really see your ship. That is how I fly, I guess. But
It makes a lot of sense for like capitals and super caps,
oh,
the
okay,
bigger ones.
yeah. That's
But
true.
your smaller ones, it's kind of like,
Yeah. All right. Just want to make a quick note here. Now that I'm fully employed as a station trader again, at least on this character, I've been doing a lot of my faction warfare stuff in the same corp. This corp's at Cal Corp on another character. So definitely wasn't expecting the buyback connection from one of our operators, but it definitely needs to be handled daily. Just one of those things. But while we're here, go ahead and some of these suckers in the market. So if you guys aren't aware, I really love this new function. Sort by estimated price. So good. So good. I can put these a little later. Alright guys, also this weekend we recorded Blue Horseshoe Club episode 4. I'll link that to you guys real quick. So it was myself, Caleb, who else was there? And Dirk was there. And we had folks that came on comms. We got Eric came on comm, Eric Asbach, also Marshmallow came on comm. So that was pretty cool. We talked about the conversations kind of shifted towards like CCP the business. So I thought that was really interesting. Definitely learned a bit about their accounting practices. So during that conversation, I learned that I guess um, plexes were, or there was a shift in what they were calling. I don't know. I apologize if I'm butchering this idea, but uh, there was a change in what they were calling as liabilities and assets, and this looks kind of strange. I guess like you want to make CCP look like it has a lot of assets. Is that the truth though? I don't know. I guess it depends on how you interpret Plex. Cliff Bolas's Plex used to be recorded as a debt, so now it's recorded as an asset. Well, Cool says we still have to hold Caleb's feet to the fire to get some sort of explanation about his fund. Yeah, so that's way over my head, man. Do you do any kind of investing with like other marketeers at all, Dexter? Oh, being not back. Yeah, definitely, cool. I think we've been oddly enough I've been trying to get him to we've had that topic actually in our show in our Blue Horseshoe Club episode um show notes a few times. We just never get into it because we tangent so hard when we start our shows. So hard. Like last episode was a perfect example of how hard we tangent. Cool asked if I'm doing any Tech 3 cruiser speculation. No, no. Uh, I just don't know enough of the meta to interpret what's good, what's bad, what's mediocre. What's OP. So I can't really I can't really make an intelligent call on it. But I'll definitely once the patterns start establishing themselves, I'll definitely get those back into my trading portfolios. That's for sure. Faction Warfare Frigate Spike. Yeah, we're actually gonna talk about some of those items. I don't know why it did, to be honest. Oh, those were LP store. Oh, really? That's strange. I was thinking the pirate ones. All right, we talked about investment group update with kind of putting myself into the position of not just the passive investor, but kind of involved in the operations now. It's really, really interesting. It definitely motivates me to reach out to other nullsec players that focus on market stuff. But I'm just, yeah, cool. Says Jeronica added margin percentage changes in portfolio, so I've been watching that. Ooh, nice. Dude, that is such an underused tool as portfolios. Totally underused. Yeah, I mean, as far as identifying patterns, I mean, to be honest, I'm one of those guys. I just look in game. I wish I knew how to make tools and spreadsheets to identify patterns better. Kind of like the same stuff that Lockfox does. But oh, Cliffball Jeronica for that he made Eve Mogul. So he has that website and it's let me link it. It's started off as a profit tracking tool, but really expanded into other modules. Yeah, it's a really good tool, man. Really good tool. The the leaderboard is basically like the kill board of market traders. Good ball saving a few more S until I can purchase Tycoon. I mean, even if you were free user, um, it's still functional. To be honest. Oh, LP conversions. All right, so I'm in CalMill. I had exchanged. Go swap out the look here. that's bright. So what I had actually purchased or converted yesterday actually was Caldari Navy Large Shield Extenders. So this is the Fuzzleworks website, guys. And so what I tend to do is I identify conversion items from LP that are really favorable for buys. All right, straight to buys. I just don't insta sell it on the buy side, right? I convert those and actually I put them on sell. All right, and the reason I do that is because people are. And the reason I do that is there's a lot of action on things that have a lot of inventory that gets dumped on buy side, so people will naturally kind of flip it anyway. So that's what I did. So yesterday, I got 15 of these, so about 150,000 LP, which I earned in less than 2 weeks, like literally flying frigates in Calmil. Less than 2 weeks. I literally, like, not gonna lie, I was semi-AFK for most of them. Like, Tristan, drones are out, load dishes real quick, come back, sites are done. It's so broken, but why not take advantage of it? I'm just saying. It sucks, but. So, doing that conversion, if I were to have just put those items, these Caldari Navy Large Shield Extenders, into buys, that conversion rate would have been 2,682 ISK per LP. That's really, really good. I'm not familiar with Concord LP from Incursions, but I imagine this is actually quite competitive for that. I imagine, especially if we consider that I was only using a frigate, not, it wasn't fleet. I wasn't, having to wait on, other people to get in fleet for incursions. Cool says no major movement is really possible as people have so much LP they dump it the moment something sticks out. Yep. No, you're a trader. You shouldn't be doing the grunt work. It's so true. It's so. I genuinely enjoyed being in LoSec because I've been in LoSec since like a long time, like 2010. As a platform for solo PvP, I really, really like LoSec. There's really nothing else like it. Those gates, being able to control what goes in to challenge you. It's good. It's good. I like it. And it's faction warfare. I mean, it sucks to say, but it's a PvE event. It's not PvP based. It's not. Sorry. Cool says, wait, aren't you in the high sec merc? Or yeah, we're not really high sec. We kill citadels the same way people run mining ops. It's just, hey, do stuff for like 30 minutes, then carry on with your day, guys. Like, oh, okay, it's pretty chill. It's pretty casual. Casually destroying citadels. It's not hard. I guess it's really not. They're so flimsy, and no one bothers to defend them, especially in high sec. They're loot pinatas. Some of them that aren't very well prepared for. All right, but I'm gonna link this website to you guys in case a good reference as far as catching LP items. This isn't just for faction warfare. It's literally like all the NPC corporations. So you can definitely use this in conjunction with the LP you get from incursions. You just have to account for the conversion rate to other LP sources. All right, back here. Cool says someone just shot the citadel I was doing invention in. Castle job sucked. Was it in the Mars base? If it was, it may have been us. Mark677 says this website's data is outdated. Like at least a few hours outdated. Yeah, it is. I don't think it's not super accurate to the hour. So Oh, Placid. Yeah, we haven't been in Placid or that side of the map for at least 6 weeks. We tend to move pretty quickly. Like, it's nice. I really like it. Um, After a few weeks, we move, and I like being in the group because it puts the onus back on the individual player to like move their stuff around, be responsible for catching up, stuff like that. How cool is it? Kids in the background. Don't mind them. I know the photo bombers, man. Bunch of photo bombers. Twitch user name for me. A few hours isn't bad for the whole market. No, it's not. I mean, if you consider too the volume that's in play, a lot of them are super stable, and a lot of the faction warfare related ones, they're dumped instantly to buys anyway. So next thing we'll take a look at, Plex. It actually crossed 3 mil. Scary, scary. All right, it's not at 3 mil right now, but it did hit like yesterday. It actually hit it like it. I think throughout the whole day it was at 3 mil. Super scary. I haven't sold my Plex yet from the converted Aurum. I'm still sitting on like uh 200 some odd, something like that. So a lot of people are freaking out. Well, not necessarily freaking out, but like starting to put things in perspective, right? So right now, so we're right around the 3 mil mark. So that's effectively 1.5 billion ISK for a month's worth of game time. That's a lot. You know what I mean? Like not everyone has that kind of earning power. That would be disposable at least, you know. Cool says a friend of mine bought about 900 billion worth of Plex in the last few days. Whoa. 900 billion? Holy shit, man.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, at these prices? Why? Like, it'll eventually kind of like do a small correction, you know, in the next like 2, 3 weeks, something like that. But that's balls, man. That's balls. I mean, that's a lot of confidence in the ability of Plex to hold wealth. Personally, I think injectors are way better, to be honest. All cool says buy Plex convert to all multiple training. Yeah, that's interesting. I actually had that as one of my things this week. It's pretty fucking brilliant. Wow. But 900 bill though. That's nuts.
That's a lot of training tunes.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. Injectors cost more than Plex. Yeah, it's strange. So for me personally, as a trader, what do I feel about the Plex being at 3 million? I think this is a benchmark that's gonna be crossed soon. You know, as far as um, being above 3 million normally. How does that play out for the rest of the market though, as far as using Plex as an actual way to stay in the game, to stay as a Omega, you know, versus paying real life money? I mean, personally, I don't Plex my accounts. I only have two accounts. I don't plex my accounts. I pay the $15 per account, just so that there's no uh, pressure to like, oh, I gotta plex, I gotta plex, I gotta plex, right? Kula says, I think at this pace we'll reach parity with Serenity by Christmas. You know what? I joke around with that stuff, and I've heard people joke around with, we're slowly working our way towards being an economy that's very close to Serenity. Not gonna lie, I mean, we're starting to have a lot of similarities, like kind of high level similarities, though, right? Not just on the economy side, but also on the combat geopolitical side. A lot of power being held by a small number of groups that's composed of lots and lots and lots of people. Are coalitions. And through the formation of those coalitions, this idea of safety in numbers prohibiting people from attacking each other, right? So I think we've kind of reached this point where we can't be bothered to attack other people and really mean it to take their shit. Not just fun fights, but just to take their shit. Like, we don't, like, why do we not do that? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Because it's easy to make money these days, guys. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that, Dexter? Because you're kind of like in that scene, right? You're part of MC and, kind of like one of the big boys out there.
As far as solve war and
yeah, what do you think about like it? Because it seems like because it's kind of easy to make money these days, right? Relative to time and ISK investment, time investment. So if at the line member level, it seems like it's easier to get into fights to equip yourself, but we're not really crossing that threshold of more organized confrontations to take people's stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Citadels is going to cause a massive stalemate. I mean, I believe it's Goons are talking about putting a keep star in nearly every system. I mean, there's such a grind to take out especially out in 0-0, wherever you have the threat of capital drops and all that stuff going on. I mean, you're going to see just the powerhouses have them, and it's going to keep the smaller guys from coming in. It's actually really unfortunate. A lot of people are pissed off about it ruining the game.
I mean, did we have that idea as Citadels were coming online? Or we didn't do it? We didn't really realize the scope of what the Citadels could bring to the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I was at eVegas when it got released, and I remember a lot of people were real excited about it. But I don't think it kind of resonated with actually this 250 billion-esque structure is going to be thrown in every system just because the cost of it compared to a station even. Like, you figure there's 60 billion it's like 8 billion for a station. I don't remember the exact price of them, but they're super cheap and comparable. But there's so much ISK and EVE right now that it
doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty strange. I mean, and I wonder if that actual, like you mentioned, that stalemate is causing people to kind of just, I'm just gonna revert to an alpha. There's nothing going on right now. I'm just gonna revert to an alpha. Probably, I think. Oh, Akulo. Oh, this is interesting. I'm kind of with you here, Akulo. To be honest, I blame injectors a lot. I do. I feel the same way. They make jumping into.
It's really screwed up a lot.
Yeah, they make jumping into Flavor of the Month doctrines / ISK making tune trivials for the big boys. Yep, I saw this firsthand when I first started. When our group started, our investment group, where we had a lot of people who were asking to be funded to buy injectors, like a lot of injectors, like from a freshly bought character, get them to Rorqual levels. And these people were asking 30-60 billion ISK for injectors, for gear, stuff like that. We were throwing money at them. Not gonna lie, we were throwing money at them. Seeing the Rorqual numbers at the time, the way the anomalies were working, the cost of the minerals, and we were just like, please take my money. Please take my tens of billions and pay me back when you have the chance. Yeah. And and then when the nerfs started coming, and then money stopped flowing on our end as investors, but then they used the same resources and just repurposed them into super carriers. So you have relatively, at least in those types of gameplays, potentially, right? Not so experienced characters or players like really going through the gamut of high level play by use of the injectors. It's kind of scary at the same time. It kind of dilutes the value of time played, right?
Also, think about what it does to just overall PvP
I can't even
theology.
imagine.
I mean, you have Sino pilots that are dropping Black Ops on you that are a day old.
That's got to be disheartening, man.
Yeah, before you could look at a character and be like, oh, he's a 2016 character, started 6 months ago. Not worried about that dude.
Nope.
Nowadays, that dude could be
injected.
A top PvPer.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's not. And we kind of talk about that all the time too, right? Like the SP only gets you so far, right? ISK only gets you so far. At the end of the day, it's skill, it's coordination, it's execution, right? But it gets you a good ways, though. You know what I mean? It gets you a good ways through that.
But you're seeing these top solo PvPers that people recognize from things like Twitch that are switching up tunes just because they can't get fights on their normal tune.
Oh, okay, kind of like smurfing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it makes sense, right? I mean, if I couldn't do what they do, stream PvP in an environment like EVE, where you can just say, no, thank you, I'm not going to fight you. No, well, that's a tough job.
You actively get hunted, too, because of it. People just watch and come after you.
Sure, yeah. You get stream sniped. That's interesting. But yeah, but I totally agree, Okulo, as far as the injectors. In the beginning, in the beginning, I was super skeptical about the extractor injector products, and my feeling about them really hasn't changed. I felt the same. I speculated the same things. They unfortunately came true. That really sucks. But at the same time, all we were hearing when the extractors and injectors were coming out was like, "Oh, this will be good for new players. It'll be good for new players." Like, get real, guys. This is EVE. What's good for new players is going to be really, really good for old players.
They should do is pull injectors out and just allow the
Oh, did I lose you? Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I hope that's something that they can balance, but I'll be honest, it's so ingrained into our economy right now, they'll probably be afraid to do anything about it. By them, I mean CCP, not necessarily players. Players will continue to consume them.
Yeah.
Cool says if it's just some players extracting here and there, it wouldn't be an issue, but the SP farms are killing us. Man, yeah, I dare not touch the SP farms. That's ISK making at a level that I cannot even imagine the scale and the scope of it. You know what I mean? It's industrial. It's absolutely industrialized.
It's the Matrix.
legit. Oh, hey, Dronica. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Have I used injectors and extractors? Oh, of course, I have. Of course. I actually do it more the opposite. I actually, from my older characters, I actually just, I did it for this character. I did it for some parts of my main, like the indie stuff from my main I took out, and my other combat character, I cleaned them out. Just so that I can have some liquid for investing, So I didn't really, add SP for myself. I actually took it away for liquid. I needed the liquid. It paid out. It totally paid out. It was a great investment. Tana Denu says, wait till CCP gets the idea to let people buy SP increase for alphas. It wouldn't surprise me if they start having introducing products to incrementally increase the functionalities of alphas. It wouldn't be surprising at all. I mean, it makes sense as a microtransaction feature, right? Relative to other games, they have some that they offer similar things. All right, so let's carry on with our. That's really all I have, guys. Nothing, not a whole lot going on news-wise. That's real. That could be tied to the market. Actually, I do have one last thing before we go to our buys and sells for the week. I'm not really gonna talk about the Concord chips, to be honest. I don't know much about it. I didn't receive one, so I don't know why people are bitching about it. Like, it didn't inject ISK into the market. It inject items that were traded for ISK that was already in the game. So a lot of people are like, oh, this is an ISK injection. No, crazy. It's not an ISK injection. It's an item. It's a new thing to be traded. Don't worry. Some people got more. Some people got none. Mm. And then some people got mad that there's a method to really farm the shit out of them down the line through Project Discovery. It's like, what did you guys think was gonna happen? Like, it's not gonna be that exclusive. TCP mentioned it's not gonna be exclusive. Kulos asked if I've seen the new forums. I have not personally. I've just seen screenshots. It looks all right. The one thing I really that's very promising is, at least right now, it's saying it's going to be less moderated compared to how the forums are right now. So that's good. I think that's one of the things that really has caused the EVE forums to be less used by the players. We just use Reddit, right? I'm glad that CCP is working towards making a better forum experience that they can control. Because they need to be able to control the narrative. Like, CCP has lost the narrative like years ago, but still, it would be nice for them to actually, as the developers, have a way to directly communicate to the players, like a forum. It's like but a modern one, right? Cool said it's a solution to a non-existing problem. Yeah, it is. And one from CCP saying it's same old as moderation goes. There was a line in there that was. Let me link the article. So I didn't realize there were like 40 plus like moderation rules, but now it's down to like 9. So that's something. In effect, what's the actual net effect from that change? Man, fuck, I don't know. Hopefully it's good. All right, guys, let's carry on with our buys and sells for the week. As far as our scrolling text there in the bottom, you can see our buys and sells. So the first one I'm going to go over for buys is the Astero. I love the Astero, man. So good. So OP when it first came out. So it's still it's slightly below average, but I think it's in a really good spot. It goes really wild throughout the day. So this is a very widely, or it's a very widely intraday trading goes. As far as intraday trading goes, a lot of people dump them in buys. A lot of people legit, get them from sell side to actually use them. So it's a really good item to trade. Very fluid, healthy margins, right? And it's slightly below average this week again. Alexander Choringen says there's 2 things CCP could do to really fix the out of control ISK inflation that's going on: a base and scaling Citadel cost per Citadel in each system, and nerf the crap out of injectors. Can't nerf them too much, otherwise they won't use them. But I see what you're saying though. And Cool says I keep hoping CCP will finally increase SAR drop rate, and they keep they actually decreased it and didn't do anything, or they did increase it, didn't they? They did increase it, trying to make it easier to get, but the price fucking jacked up. Jonica says they need to increase the occurrences ISK changes hands. You mean like in a microtransaction way, or having more barriers that require ISK to move forward in the game, kind of like more service in-game services? That's an interesting thing, though. Yeah. Veronica says more people are needed to do something. I agree. I agree. A lot of times, though, like I'll use our investment group as an example. Uh, I think it's very natural. It's very natural for people to work together, right? And I'm working with people that are not in my corp, not in my alliance. We just share a Discord. Never flown with them, never undocked from a station with these guys, right? But we're working together, and lots of money are exchanging hands. But a lot of people don't really get to that point or don't even think about it because it's not inherent to the game as far as the market stuff. Um, because I think players see the market and get really intimidated by it and think it's a solo experience when it's really not. Like the market in Eve is not a solo experience. It's not. How cool is it to jack up taxes and get rid of the 0% broker fees? That's an interesting thought, actually. Because in other MMOs, from what I notice, we have really, really low taxes, super low taxes. And that's really strange because we have the most vibrant and complex in-game economy in any MMO, and I think it should be more taxes. We need more sinks, like legit. 0% broker fees are my nemesis. Yeah, I agree. They shouldn't exist. If they do, it should be like super cumbersome to employ them, if anything. Also, we need to purge Forge from all the citadels. Let's Eve. I'll be honest, coming from a group that actually does Citadel killing in Empire, there's not enough of us. You guys have no idea how much bullshit fucking Citadels are out there that are just they're out there, but no one bothers to defend them for one. It takes too long to kill one, and I'm not saying that it takes too long from the what you need to feel. It takes too long from a timer perspective. It shouldn't take two war deck periods to kill a fucking Astra House. It shouldn't. That's dumb. Alexander Trojan Horde kills Jita Sits? Question mark. Yes, they did. Oh, because the horse got it down in 24 hours. Ugh, so good, so good. But yeah, if there's any comment I have about the Citadel feature, it really is the timers. It just doesn't make sense that they all have the same timers when their functionality is wildly different. Their cost is wildly different across the board. But we'll see. I mean, we're continuing to. I don't know of a lot of any other group that's like us actually that You know, we're not mercs, but I like killing citadels. I enjoy them. I really do. You know, it's a nice group activity. It's like mining, but with nightmares and bazzies. And it only takes 30 minutes. All right, so that's the Astero. If you're in Euro time zone, and for some ungodly reason you're watching right now live and you're in Euro time zone, bless your soul. This is a really, really good item to trade in Euro time zone. Really good. US time zone, not so much, because things are already selling down at US time zone. Just saying, let's bring it out there. Oh, Cliff. Do right Tarus are so squishy. They're squishier than Astros. It literally, I think 2 days ago, it took us. There was less than seven of us, 7 BCs, and we killed off the shields of Right Tower in about 17 minutes. They're really flimsy. All right, the next item for buys that's good this week's Orthros. I've never actually used the Orthros before. They're really good PvP ships. You know, for real, they're good. In the war zone, they're good. Oof, they're nasty. They're trading below average this week. The downward movement just started this week. If you can catch this like around, let's see where it's at right now, real quick. Might be too tight right now. 8% before taxes. I'm using the buy orders from Perimeter as a reference here, guys. 8% before 7.5% before taxes. That's not bad, considering the actual cost for the unit. Now, can you get a little cheaper than 211? I think you can. I think you can. I think this is a pretty, through intraday trading, of course. I think this is a pretty solid floor for the pricing. Because when it goes back up, you know, ideally what you'd want to do is capture it at the floor right here of like 210, 211, and sell it once the 5-day moving average goes above the 20-day moving average. I think it's pretty reasonable to anticipate that at 240. So if you're able to capture these Orthros at 210, so let's do that right now. 210, 240. 13% before taxes. That's really, really good. How possible is that? It's very possible. You may have to wait out the pricing cycle for about, you know, maybe 1 to 2 weeks though from this point. That's fine. That's fine. Mind the volume though. It's less than 100 per day. Oh, cool. Says Orthros just got nerfed. Really? Damn. Everything's getting nerfed. Fuck. That sucks. Everything's getting fucking nerfed. I'd be cautious then. But if you already have a bunch of these, I'd just wait for it to pick up above average again. Yeah, I agree. I didn't realize that Agulo, so that is a risky bet. Good call. Alexander's like Orthros were cancers. Hell yeah, they were. God, hell yeah, they were, man. Chainsaw Plankton says Rapid Light Missile Launchers hasn't got hit yet, but I think in the July patch, yeah, Rapid Lights can get hit, man. They're so good. They're so good. Frahar says that Rattlesnake Spike Hold. They did. They actually held the best out of the faction battleships. Because they're just a great ship. Great for PvE, great for PvP. Yeah. Cool says medium AC is getting a slight buff. Oh, thank God. Thank God. What else did I get? Oh, multiple character training. So there was a sale this week, guys. I think it's still going. For multiple character training. I personally have never used multiple character training. It's kind of not my thing. But if that's your thing, they're on sale. So pretty deep sale, and it put a lot of volume in the market. Dropped the price, really good. Not at 90-day lows, but it's sustaining a floor of about what 1.14, 1.15 billion. It's at 1.16 buy right now. So if you really want to pick these up, I mean, they're not high volume item at all. So good luck trying to capture these on buys. Yeah, I just don't know enough about this, guys. But just based on the technicals, though, they are below average. They did drop in price dramatically with volume to back it up. So it's a legit drop. But how is this going to sustain through the sale period? I don't know. But if you really wanna get these, I wouldn't get these if you don't intend to use them to be honest. But if you're gonna use these anyway and you just want to get them for cheap, I think it's a pretty good opportunity. And large skill injector as far buys. Sorta. Double check this. Yes, this is definitely a buy item. Cool says without knowing how long the sale lasts, it's a risky short-term bet. I think it's just for the rest of the week, Cool. I think. These sales don't tend to go beyond the week anyway. Large skill injectors are at a trading below average. It's hit a really solid floor at about like 710, 720 bill or 720 million rather. Sorry. SB farmers cashing out. Yup. Um, can it get lower? The large scale injectors right now. I don't think so. I think it's established a pretty good floor right here. So let's see how it's looking right now. 713. It's pretty good. 1.5% difference. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's still meat in the bone. Not much, but if I had the cash, I would actually put buy orders and just sell it when it goes above average again. I think this is a pretty established floor. I'm comfortable with using this as a floor as a guide. Um, let's say it just hits its most recent high point here of cracking the 750. So 710 to 750. Ugh, it's not much either. But if you're trading, if you're buying and selling these in a 0% tax environment, that's good for you. Tronica probably hates that though. Well, we'll see, man. I mean, that's really the only way to day trade these injectors, these plexes, these RMT items, right? You gotta do it in a zero or near 0% tax environment. You have to. It's so slim. Um, can it go beyond the most, the last high here of 750 in the current environment that we find ourselves in right now? I don't know, man. I don't think so. At least not within the next 45 days. I don't think so. I have a hard time seeing this crack 750 billion in the next 45 days. The reason being, well, what are people like mass training into that's going to need this kind of volume, this kind of daily volume of injectors, you know. It's too many nerfs already, nerf recalls. Fighters are getting hit. The ships that are replacing them as PvE ships are ships that were already previously strong, so it's not going to be as big of a rush. People, you know, very well could already have those skills. Alexander Chorigan says, "With how low do you think it will go the next month with Ghost training being gone, etc.?" Based on technicals, I think it will hold at this. It'll probably, if anything, it may use this floor as a consolidation channel, as a trade channel. That's very possible. That's probably what's gonna happen, I think, because it looks really, really rock steady right now in this pattern. The only thing too is like large with any kind of RMT stuff, Plex injectors, not necessarily extractors, but injectors and Plex. Unless you're actively flipping them and watching some of these sons of bitches like a hawk, usually what I did with them is I would just buy them at lows and sell them at highs. Honestly, as it waves, as the prices wave through, you know. Because I know I couldn't be there for you know, Eve prime time, you know, it's Euro time. I'm in US time zones. I can't really be there to actually compete, you know. All right, that's really it's not a whole lot for buys, though. Just that's it, guys. Then we'll carry on with our sells. Sells for the week. First one is a small ancillary armor ripper. Again, this is like so funny to me, man. They increased the drop rate of this thing to promote more items in the market. But instead of the price reacting by dropping, it actually increased. So the drop rate increase did nothing. Did absolutely fucking nothing. I have some theories on that. I mean, I think my main theory is like no one was really bothering to farm these at that level anyway. Because they were data sites, right? It's a data site item. Fuck data sites, man. So if they really want to affect the price of small ancillary armor rippers, they have to manipulate the drop rate like pretty drastically. I mean, it sucks, but yeah, they have to do that. Cool, so CCP really screwed in here. Yup. Sounds like CCP trying to mess with the economy. Yeah, I mean, between Veronica and Akulo, I mean, I don't know, man. They would have to. Is it really a problem for small ancillary rippers to be costing this much? I mean, to be honest, CCP can't really control the cost directly, right, of small ancillary armor rippers. That's us putting it in the market like that. But they really, I think they have to be more heavy-handed with how they do the drops. Yeah, I mean, for I can't imagine any armor anything in faction warfare. So frigate, predominantly frigates, right? They need SARS. When this one single module literally costs like twice the value of the rest of the fit and ship, it's ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. Yeah, you're right. I believe it should be cheaper, but the amount of these items that are currently in the market and that cycles through the market promotes this kind of pricing. You know, it's tough to negate that. It's tough to put a band-aid on that. I mean the margins alone, dude. So right now, SARS buys 7.1 mil, sells 9.1. Dude, that's huge. That's a huge margin. Huge. That's crazy. I mean, the only thing I can think of from a practical like in-game sense would be develop a concept that's gonna be better than using Hussar on a frigate. But is there a solution to that right now? No. No. Chainsaw Blindness says, looking at the 1-year chart, there's hardly any change in volume. Makes me doubt the whole drop rate change thing. I agree. But I think the reason why it's appearing like that is the drop rate, because we have to get them from data sites. They're not farmed as heavily anyway. So even though they did a drop rate adjustment, it might have been so small or too small that the net effect was actually 0. Cool, so they're smart, they'll replace the medium ASB with SAR copies. That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. Who the fuck uses medium ASBs? Like when they first came out, medium ASBs was the shit though, not gonna lie. These days, no. Yep, but it's a strong thing to sell for sure. And the disparity between the buy and sell is promoting this to be a flipped item. That's why the price keeps going up, or contributing to that at least, right? The next thing for sales, guys, the Phantasm. Phantasm's usually been steady, like it's super steady throughout its history, but then it'll go through these spikes. Yeah, it's really small spike. It's dying down though, guys. So if you do happen to have some Phantasms on hand and you need to offload it, you're not really getting as high as a price as you would in the last 3 days or so, but it's still above average relative to the 90-day chart. So if you really need to offload them, offload them now. This is the best opportunity you got in the last 90 days. Cool says Phantom spiked and Succubus might have as well. I don't think the Succubus did. Not when I was making these picks. No, not Succubus. The Nightmares are holding though, because all of the pirate battleships held up. So I mean, it's technically above average for the Succubus, but it's like slightly above average, like about to be below average soon. Next item, guys, Stratios. Stratios has been a steady moneymaker for me, man. Not right now, I'm not trading them right now. All my liquid ISK has gone to the buyback program. Yes, Stratios is it's really high right now. It just goes through these waves. Stratios is really easy to play, to be honest. If you have the money to dedicate to just a handful of items, and you can afford buying Stratios like 5, 10 at a time, I would highly encourage that, just to play it smartly. Anything strange about it being high though? No, I don't think so. I think it's a little higher than what I was expecting. I think it's along the same lines as the overall PvE, the great PvE nerf of 2017. I'm constantly being followed about, beloved. And I can't believe I'm actually calling this Cinnabon. Cinnabon for sale. Wow. Feels weird to say that. Boom! Look at that son of a bitch. Oh, Alexander Charnjan asks, what do I do for work? Have I tried stocks? I actually do stocks. Not right now. But I've been playing around with, actually taught myself how to trade stocks during my first deployment. I'm in the Navy. And I enjoy it. I enjoy the science, I enjoy the math, I enjoy kind of the psychology of it. So it's definitely something that I have been, I try to keep up studying it. I'm not sure what made Cinnabons jump. I'm going to be absolutely upfront with you guys. I'm not sure what made the Cinnabons jump. It could just be a reaction to the just normal price fluctuations, but it feels a bit drastic. I cashed out my Cinnaballs. Unfortunately, but when I did get them, I really just it, near zero profit, to be honest. But I did just want to get rid of them. Cool, this is YMCA Navy, man. I wish. That sounds pretty legit, though. Yeah, it could just be a reaction of the downward price movement, and then it's just been oversold this time, and it finally reacted. I'm just glad it did, because then I was holding on to those Cinnabon stocks for months now. Or more of a Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon's hot, man. Data Course, I'm not too schooled on Data Course, so I can't really speak too much about that. I'm probably gonna start looking at that when I do more Faction Warfare LP conversions. Every now and again, those things kind of spike for like 2 days as a really good conversion item. And finally, the Worm. The Worm used to be so good, man. Worm definitely above average right now. It's starting to trend back down. So if you happen to have some in stock and you want to offload it, unfortunately, the best time would have been like 2-3 days ago. But if you still have them and you need to offload something, yeah, might want to do it now. Or a high energy Data Cores. Let's check that out right now. Dang, steady climb. Wow, look at that. Oof. 120 to 131. 9% is pretty good. That's good. I gotta look into that a little more. Alexander Trojan says, I have a lot of Concord LP stocked up. How would you suggest I go about cashing out on that? Well, there's a cost of conversion, isn't there? I'm not familiar with converting Concord LP. I'm pretty sure there's a cost for conversion. If there is, you'd have to kind of just math it out, to be honest. As far as things to, I would use that tool, that Fuzzworks has, to be honest, to identify. But as a general premise, if it can be converted for stuff that like Pirate Faction stuff, I would probably focus on Pirate Faction items. I imagine those are generally higher demand just due to the rarity. Chainsaw Plankton says, seems to mainly follow Faction Warfare tiers. Amar's at T1. Yep. The shitty thing about the other side, Amar and Mimitar, is like, their LP items are they're shit. They're fucking shit. You know why they're shit? Because not many are good for PvE. But the Kaldari and Galente, some of those items are actually really, really good for PvE, and they're just steady. They're steady conversion items. I've been through all 4 factions, and I get the better conversion rates generally in the Cal Mill and Gal Mill side than I do the Amar Mimitar side. It's just the way it is. And I'll be honest, Citadel's really have fucked up the Faction Warfare piece, man. The Faction Warfare environment. Amar is still at 0. It's been like almost 3 weeks now, and they're still at 0 systems retaken. I've never seen that. Usually, the response is kind of quick, at least to establish a beachhead, but not even. Because Citadels, they don't have to take those NPC stations anymore. They can just live off those dang free-ported Citadels just fine. So that's something that's gonna have to be addressed, to be honest. I'm kind of curious whether that kind of sentiment is present for active faction warfare pilots right now. Like for me as a solo faction warfare guy, I don't really care. I don't. Sorry, I don't. Because I've mapped out all the free ported citadels in both war zones, and I just island hop through all of them until I have enough LP where it's, oh, I'm gonna cash out now. Then I go back home. Cool says, from what I heard, Amar Malicious MIA. The stats definitely say they're MIA. For real, bro. For real. They stopped showing up. Yep, they definitely have stopped showing up. Probably farming on their Mimitar alts. Probably. It's just that it's so out of balance right now. Usually hitting 0 is the actual counterpoint, but it hasn't really manifested itself that way. Yeah, I don't know. It's honestly still like right now, even as I'm roaming through the war zone. Once I've mapped out all these citadels from both war zones, dude, I feel so comfortable, so comfortable. Even as a solo guy, I can just, I feel more free actually with the citadels, but at the same time, it doesn't really promote the faction warfare mechanic, the actual occupancy mechanic. The citadels really bork that. Mark677 says, I wonder if CCP is going to interact with faction warfare somehow. Nope. No, man. Faction warfare is a forgotten function. It's a forgotten feature. It sucks that it's a forgotten feature. But I'll be honest, with refineries coming up, with trying to mess with pirate faction battleships, Rorquals, excavator drones, fucking fighters, that honestly must take priority over faction warfare. Sorry, it's one of those things. Akula says, Citadel stop people from caring about zone control. Yep, I agree. Because why? Because it's easier to manage the Citadels. They're a better defensive platform, right? They're not touching anytime soon. I totally agree. And that really, really sucks, it just sucks all around. But in the same time, if you like the environment of low sec, the ability to like really challenging PvP environment, really, you really got to be on your game. I enjoy it personally as a solo roaming area. It's the only thing I do, man. I'm not a null sec player. PvP in high sec, a station trade, and then PvP in low sec. That's it. I enjoy that over nullsec, that's for sure. I'm just not. Nullsec seems so boring to me. Sorry. Blue Panther 1776 is getting 5,000 LP per site on my Amar Alpha sucks. That same 5,000 LP that I get in Caldari side is incredibly valuable. In Amar, yeah. Amar LP in general, Mimitar LP in general, has low value because of the stuff you can convert it into. As far as the faction-specific stuff, it's just not sought after. It's just not. Mark 67 is Nullsec's boring. Nullsec is boring, man. I'm sorry, but I don't mean to have any Nullsec pilots out there. It's like, to me, as a type of player that I am, I find it boring. So yeah, I mean, that's just stuff. I definitely am expanding more into the market stuff into Nullsec. But the funny thing is, I'm engaging in that stuff at the convenience of my little couch in Jita 4.4. through my connections with buyback programs and stuff like that. So I am having an effect. I am in that chain, that market chain through Nullsec. It's just, but I'm sitting in Jita, right? It's kind of crazy. Mark 677 says, you want FC, you want to manufacture, you want to do politics, then you're fine, yeah. Alexander Challenger says, how fast you make money relatively, as in percent increase in invested ISK per week per month? With the buyback, at least, I can probably speak a little better of that, because the money's revenue. I think as a net profit, I'm probably from the batches that I receive, I'm probably making about 5% net profit. So just a few $100 mil net profit a day. Nothing crazy. Yeah, I mean, Oh, Mark 677 says, could you please take a look at the Hyperion firm? Yeah, let's take a look. Bam! Hyperion's up. Nice. Look at that. Low volume though. It's kind of strange. Damn, that's good though. Fuck. Super outlier. Look at the median, man. Way above the 5-day average line. Woo. That's sexy. Maelstrom should get more popular now that Max are way more expensive. Yeah, probably. Probably. It's crazy. We should do a roam from the SEC, guys. Just fucking Marauder roam for those deck. Mark677 says, imagine I have 50 more items like that. Nice. Frankie Tanky 9 asks, do you sit Jita all day or do you unduck actually play the game? I don't actually play the game for combat. If I really want to do like combat type gameplay, I play other games. I don't play Eve. I play with World of Warships mostly. I'm here for the market play, like genuinely for the market play, the social stuff, the group stuff, but actual comprehensive combat gameplay, no, not Eve. I do the solo stuff, but that's really more of a kind of a relaxing, kind of like Zen time for me. Not really. It's not exciting. Cool says we should sponsor Citadel Summer Cleanup. You know what? There's a lot of folks out there. There's not a lot, but there's some agencies that could probably support that. You know, it's just that it's so defender friendly. Alexander Trojan asks, how much time invested do you put in a day to make that 300 mil a day? Yeah, 10 minutes. I don't adjust my sell orders. I don't adjust them. I have too much to actually bother to adjust. I have 991 items that I can't list yet. You know, so right now I have free 11 orders. I put 11 things on sell order, then I log off. That's it. Then I go to my combat team, Faction Warfare, check out what's going on. Go to my wormhole character. That's it, yeah. Mostly, Eve is the social game for me. You know, it's Discord online, right? And I really enjoy doing this stuff. I like them, you know, like kind of like the mental challenges with it, right? Figuring stuff out. That's the part I really enjoy. But with the buyback contracts that I'm involved with, it relieved me of the ability to have to bother with buy orders. Alexander Trojan says, and that's from well-established markets you buy into, and is that including finding new profitable items? So that's a really good question. As far as finding profitable items, that took a lot of work in the beginning. You know, it's kind of just I don't know how to like build tools. All right, I don't know how to like get really fancy spreadsheets and stuff like that. So all of my research into markets actually just happens in game. So I look, I observe, I take notes of things. I created my search, my quick bar, and I moved on from there. So I'm not saying that you know, oh, I spent so little time. I spent so little time now because it took me a lot of time to set everything up. So that was the payout, right? So my main focus, honestly, is getting people together, or working with people outside of my corp, outside of my alliance, you know, but market people, or even not really, you know, established market people, and piling our resources together and doing like investment funds and stuff like that. That's really my main focus. Like, Alexander says I started station trading in Dodixie with about 300 mil. Never really went well anyway. Not in Dixie. Not even in Amar, honestly. Like that'll be decent places to sell. Not necessarily do buy and sell, I don't think. At least I'd never had a lot of success doing that. All right, guys. Well, that's really all I have. I think we spent about an hour 45 minutes here together, going over market stuff. But thank you very much for everyone who's tuned in. I'll definitely get this into YouTube tonight, and I'll link that in Twitter. And also, as a reminder, this Saturday we should be doing Blue Horseshoe podcast episode 5 with Caleb. Not sure exactly who our guests are going to be yet. But yeah, but if you're interested in just joining us and just having just going through discussions or just being there to offer opinions and on market stuff, just let us know. You can find us in the SEC Lounge. You can contact Caleb Aranya, right? Actually, and you can probably make comments in the YouTube thing, just to see if you guys are interested in joining us. Cool says last bits here. Stay out of main hubs. You can make a lot of decent is trading secondary LOSEC hubs. Yep. Ichuria. Heck, love it. Chainsaw Plans is buying Jita and dumping other trade hubs. Yep, that's a good strategy as well. Cool says thanks. This was fun. Hey, thanks for being here. Cool, appreciate it. And same with Blue Panzer. Thanks, great show. All right, well, thank you very much, guys. Really, really appreciate it. And but if anyone wants to join us, let me put the link to our Discord. I've done this in the beginning. So that's our Discord, guys. That puts you in our general channel. That's just for it's a Discord that's used by myself and our investors and operators. So kind of like with the buyback stuff, right? If that's something that's interesting to you, just join it, give us a holler, and they'll see what we can do. I think we have some folks that are actually looking for places to dump their money right now. We have a few really established operators there, and actually keep track of our, at least the last few months, of who's been doing really good and staying active and actually paying people back out. So we're trying to establish like a little subculture in there. Hopefully we're doing okay. We're definitely doing a lot better than when we first started. So, all right, that's really all I got. Well, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. I enjoyed talking markets with you guys, and catch us this Saturday for Blue Horseshoe Podcast episode 5, and then I'll be doing this again next week. All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. The sun says bye. There, guys.